taking you through Mathematics for Standard 7. So our topic for today is rates. Remember our last topic was ratios. So rates and ratios, they have a similarity. So when you talk about rates, we're talking about a comparison between different quantities or a comparison between different amount. So we have the commonly used rates. We have the heart rate, the rate to pay, the population growth rate, the speed rate, the inflation rate. So when you talk about the heart rate, we are comparing the number of times your heart beats in seconds. So you can see that they are comparing two things there. The number of times, how many times does your heart beat? Looking at what? Looking at the time. So they are comparing the number of times your heart beats with time. And then the next thing that we have is the rate to pay. How much you earn per unit of time. So the amount a person earns, comparing it with what? With time. Different people earn different pay. We have people who earn a salary. A salary is a pay, monthly. And then we have people who earn what you call wages. Wages is money given to workers weekly. So when you say how much you earn per unit of time, some people earn per hour, weekly, monthly. So we are comparing that with time. And then we also have population growth rate. We are measuring the increase in relation to time. In Botswana, we carry what you call population census, where people are being counted after every 10 years. So when you talk about population growth rate, we are comparing the increase with time. The next one we have is speed. When you talk about speed, you are looking at the distance and the time. So we are comparing how much you covered, looking at the time. So when you talk about speed, we are comparing the distance and time. You know, you can go to Francistown in 5 hours, but the distance being, let's say, 400 kilometers. But another person can go to Francistown in 4 hours still with the same distance. So we are comparing situation like this. So these are the commonly used rates. We have the heart rate, the rate to pay, the population growth rate, speed, and we also have one called the inflation rate. That is the general increase in price. We know that price can increase. Right now the combi used to be 3 puller. Right now is around 4 puller. So when you talk about inflation rate, you are talking about that general increase in prices. So let's move on to the examples of calculation of rates. So our first example says, a boy reads 12 pages in 5 minutes. A boy reads 12 pages in 5 minutes. From the first statement, you can see that we are comparing what? Pages and time. We have 12 pages there and we have what? 5 minutes. So we are comparing pages and time. Let's continue with the question, and then it continues to say, if a boy has 132 pages, if a boy has what? 132 pages. Let's start again with the first one. A boy reads 12 pages. We are already told that a boy reads 12 pages in 5 minutes. So these are the pages, this is time. So the question continues to say, if a book has 132 pages, so if we are given pages again, if a book has 132 pages, how much time does he take to complete the book? So we are not given the time for the 132 pages. So we can represent this by using the alphabet X. Because you are not given what? The time. You don't know how much time the boy takes to read the 132 pages. So that's what we have to find. So what do? We cross multiply. This will multiply this and this will multiply this. So this is the easier way of finding the answer. So the first step you say 12 times x followed by 132 times 5. So our answer becomes 12 times x will give us 12x. So it becomes 12x, and then you can put this equal sign. Then you multiply the next one, 5 times 132. So you are cross multiplying. 12 times x is give us 12x, and then 132 times 5. You can just calculate this one here. 132 times 5. 5 times 2, that's 5, 10. Give us a 10. This is 0, carry 1. Then 5 times 3, that's 5, 10, 15. Plus 1, it becomes 16. Carry 1. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So 132 times 5 will give us 660. So we come here and write 660. So our answer is 12x is equal to 660. Remember, we don't know what x is. So our main aim here is to find how many time, the time taken to read 132 pages. And from I hope we all did from standard 5 and standard 6. We all covered a topic called algebra. So from our algebra rules, there is a multiplication sign here. Even though it's not written, it's there. And the multiplication sign is removed by the division from our algebra. So what we have to do here, we divide both sides by 12. We divide both sides by 12. And automatically this 12 will cancel this 12. So we are remaining with what? With x. So it means x is equal to, let me say, 12 into 660. So you are going to use a simple method, 12 into 660. So we cancel this one and we find out how many times does 12 go into 660. So you can calculate this one also. So normally I advise students to use this faster method. You already know that 12 plus 12 is 24. So you can just say 24 plus 24. It will give us 4 plus 4 is 8. 2 plus 2 is 4. We have what? It means from this 24 we have 2 12s. From this 24, 2 12s. And then we still have 48. But the answer was 66. 12 into 66. So let's add another 12 here. 8 plus 2 is 10. 4 plus 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. So it means it's what? 60. So 12 into 66. It goes in, let's count. This is 2, 4, 5. It goes in 5 times. So it's 5 remainder. Since it's 60, it means it's going to be 66 minus 60. And that's our remainder. So our remainder becomes 6. So we put the 6 here. So 12 into 66, it goes in 5 times. Remainder 6. We go on to the next one. 12 into 60. So go back to that calculation. Remember, 12 into 60 is 5. This is 2, 4, 5. So it means 12 into 60 is 5. Then our x becomes 55 minutes. Remember the x we were finding time. So it becomes 55 minutes. So it means for the boy to read 132 pages, he took 55 minutes. So I hope you all understood our example. So So I would like us to try this next 2 exercises. Thank you for tuning in. See you on our next session.